South Point offers all the types of entertainment you'd expect at a first-class Las Vegas resort. Did you know our 400-seat showroom is one of Las Vegas's top destinations for live entertainment? Enjoy live performances by classic Vegas entertainers, bands, and today's hottest comedians, plus a rock and dance floor. You can also enjoy live entertainment at the Grand View Lounge, where you'll feel all the vibes of old Las Vegas. Enjoy the music, and if you love to laugh, don't miss The Dirty at 12:30, our very own free comedy show, every Friday night at 12:30 a.m. in the Grand View Lounge. The Dirty is 100% free, so arrive early. Go to southpointcasino.com or call the box office at 77136 for today's performances at the showroom and the Grand View Lounge. When you're ready for your favorite cocktail, stop in and unwind at one of our 7 specialty lounges. There's a bar around every corner, because you're in Vegas, baby. South Point Casino has plenty of attractions for the whole family. Catch a movie. Our 16-screen movie theater includes 2 XD Extreme screens for the ultimate in viewing, sound, and luxury. After the show, treat the family to a variety of treats at our old-fashioned ice cream parlor, Kate's Corner. We scoop up a variety of creamy concoctions, including smoothies, hand-dipped cones, milkshakes, malts, sodas, and sundaes. At Kate's, there's something for everyone. And if you still got time to spare, our bowling center might be right up your alley. Voted Best of Las Vegas, it's a great place for friends and family fun. 64 lanes, a pro shop, snack bar, and arcade. And while the kids are bowling, you can play slots and sip on a drink in the Alley Cat Lounge while overlooking the lanes. For our more serious and professional bowlers, the South Point is also home to a separate tournament bowling plaza.
Good morning. Welcome into this Sports by the Book. Here at the South Point studio, I'm Jeff Parles. She is Alex White. He is Kenny White. We're thrilled to be with you with one college basketball game to go in the 24-25 season, guys.
It's been a lot of fun. I mean, this tournament, we've got all 4 1 seeds making it to the Final Four, and now we have our matchup here, Florida and Houston. So it's been a long couple weeks, I think, for all of us, but I am so excited about this game.
Can't believe the basketball's over.
I know.
It's just like, why not keep going? I love the Crown. Was a great little addition this year to get a couple more games late in the season. But yeah, I really can't believe it's over.
Yeah, the NIT last week with dramatics with Chattanooga winning because Irvine missed the bunny at the buzzer. Nebraska finally wins a postseason tournament in the Crown. Women's title, UConn just steamrolls through the Final Four and blows out South Carolina by 23, and it wasn't even really that close yesterday. A championship season it is, and Alex, Kenny, we really were. We got 2 unbelievable games on Saturday. We really did. Florida and Auburn was just a heavyweight fight, and credit to Walter Clayton, who I'll say this right now, and we'll dive in as we go through it. Even if Florida loses tonight, I think Walter Clayton should be the most outstanding player of this tournament. Now, I understand they do Final Four-wise, and it's very hard for a losing player to get it. But if Clayton has another night like he did on Saturday night and Houston wins like a 1-point game, I think there's as strong of an argument as there ever is for a losing player in this one. But what a dominant performance by Clayton in that second half to get the Gators a 9-point victory over Auburn.
I agree with you. I'm just thinking the opposite direction. I can hear Bruce Pearl at halftime up. I don't know what they were up 8-10 points at halftime. We won. We won the game. We did it. We beat you guys. And the second half's going to be the same. We're going to do it the same. We're going to beat you guys. And he went into halftime. Great job, guys. That's the way to play basketball. And then they forgot to come out and play in the second half. Bruce Pearl is that. I talk about coaches that are really good as dogs, and some are really good or terrible as favorites. I think he's one of those guys. He's just living on what they did last, and he's kind of always been that rah-rah guy, and that was amazing. Walter Clayton Jr. has definitely impressed me. Give props to Rick Pitino. He found him and brought him to Iona. And kind of shocking that he's not at St. John's, or maybe we'd be talking about, Jeff's right about him being an MVP. If he was on St. John's, we might be talking about St. John's versus Houston right now.
Well, that's what they were missing, is someone
no
who could
doubt about
score
it.
like him. So definitely. First player to have 30-plus points in the Elite Eight and Final Four since Larry Bird. So
not bad.
To Jeff's point, because it's only Final Four and on, that might actually impact. And that's kind of where I'm going with my handicap, is a little bit of a regression here, and Houston locking them down. They haven't seen a defense like this Cougars defense. Now, I mean, of course, he could still have a great game, but it's going to be tough, I think.
So then the second game, of course, I mean, a historic collapse, historic comeback, whatever. Would you rather put it in the rosy light for Houston or the dark light for Duke? You can go either way. And, you know, it's pretty funny in the end. And, Alex, I know you and I talked about this a bunch during the year with Duke, where you have a team that's this dominant, that doesn't play close games, and this game wasn't even that close. It was 14 with 8.5 minutes to go. It was 9 with 3 minutes to go. It was 6 with 30 seconds to go. And Houston wins in regulation in what was one of the more shocking tournament memories that I have at this point. 70-67. Somehow you push your total, by the way, which is kind of astounding. But credit to the Cougars, who took advantage of missed free throws by Duke, a turnover mixed in there, and Duke making one field goal in the last 10.5 minutes. And the Cougars and Kelvin Sampson, who are both looking for their first title, will play for it tonight against Florida.
I think the biggest thing for me was just the poise, and this Houston team has been in that situation. Looking at the comparison from that Kansas game in the middle of the season, it was incredible, and they really did their part, and they made Duke uncomfortable, and that's what we were kind of worried about going into this tournament, not used to being uncomfortable in those last few minutes, and it really showed up. But it was the experience, I think, from Houston.
They didn't foul either.
Yep.
They didn't foul. Up 6 or down 6. I was shocked they didn't, and they never had to. That was the amazing part about it, that it was more of an Elam ending than it was a regular traditional college basketball ending, because 99 out of 100 teams would have fouled, and Con Knippel would have knocked down both free throws, and we would be talking about Duke today. But they didn't foul, and they won it with their defense. It was amazing. I said to Alex, then you get Roberts. I think it was Roberts goes to the free throw line, 60% shooter. He knocked him down like he was a 90% shooter. That was a lot of pressure.
You know, it's kind of weird. It's one of those situations where when Robert with that over the back on flag, which I know there are people angry with it. Look, the refs make that call when the defensive player doesn't cleanly get the rebound. Maybe he could have not blown it, whatever. But Robert still has to go to the line as a 62% shooter, make both. And it was weird as he was going to the line. I'm thinking, watching the game, thinking in my head, I think he's making both. It felt like he was going there and going to make both. As weird as like Cryer's a 90%. Sharp's one of the best free throw shooters in country.
Yeah.
And it's Roberts going to the line. It's like, oh, going to make both. And neither of them barely even touched the net. They're both pure.
Yeah.
And like you said, and you brought it up, Kenny, and you're 100% right. That was really a 1 out of 100 shot what happened on Saturday night, because you would have had a lot of teams that would have panicked and just started taking bad three-pointers. Houston didn't take bad shots. They played it out with a minute to go, down 6. How many teams do that in that circumstance? Basically no one. But when you hold Duke to one field goal in the last 10.5 minutes, it was the right move, and it paid off. And now we go into tonight's game, and guys, there's nothing separating these teams here at the South Point anymore. It was Florida 1. Now it's a pick behind us. There's a lot of Florida 1 still in the market. So if you want to go take that point with Houston, you can find it. Total's 141. And Alex, we'll start with you, because there is one common denominator from this desk going into this tournament. Actually, before we get to you, Ryan, if you have it ready, we had one common denominator with the three of us before this tournament on who was going to end up cutting down the nets in San Antonio.
Winning over Michigan State.
But in the end, it's finally Kelvin Sampson's time. They'll have a hard game in the semi. They'll have a hard game in the final. But they beat Florida, and the Cougars finally bust through and win that title.
And Houston winning over Michigan State. Finally getting it done.
But I'd have to go with probably Kelvin Sampson and Houston.
Clean sweep. Clean sweep on the desk.
About Duke, aren't there a ton on Florida too? Because Florida's now plus 325. If you would have bet them last Friday before the SEC conference tournament, they were still like 8-1.
Yeah, I bet them at 14-1.
You had them at 14-1.
Florida, Duke have been the predominant ones. A lot of people backed away from Auburn because of the bad streak at the end, and people just back away from Houston because they're used to what they're seeing in these NCAA tournament scenarios for Houston. They seemingly escaped the robbery. So Houston, Florida, your matchup. By the way, the exactas that were out over the weekend, you could have got 9-1 on either combination involving Florida and Houston, which if you bet both of those, you sit back, relax, and you got yourself a nice 8-unit profit in the books on that one way or another. But look, we all picked Houston beforehand. Just the aggravating of the bracket pools, by the way. I have the exact final. If Houston wins, I finish 5th. That's how ridiculous this has been with the chalk this year. And that's not even a big pool. It's a smaller pool as well. But, Alex, just going to you first here. Pick 141. It didn't really matter what matchup we got, but for me, this is the matchup I wanted to see, and there's no separation at the South Point now in this game.
So Saturday we did go through the exactas, and I've been pretty fortunate with the exactas going into these championship games this year. I did jump in with Houston defeating Florida 9-1. So I have that ticket. I have no plan to hedge. I'm just going to write it out. In the end, I think this is kind of poetic, and with the change in the NIL and transfers in and one-year teams, I think this is Houston's year for the old school, right? I mean, they have been right there knocking on the door. Kelvin Sampson, for all these years, they have this culture built. We have one player, Roberts, you mentioned him, 17 NCAA tournament games. So they've been right there. I think they finally get it done here. Florida's a great team. I know you often say, Jeff, I mean, they do have the best player on the court. I do believe that with Walter Clayton. But by committee, Houston, number 1 defense in the country. I think they get it done.
I keep staring at that 9-1, and I didn't bet it. And, I went back. I didn't even know how much I bet on Florida, but it was that day you asked me to let's do some future bets on college basketball. And I came up with Florida. I came up with Purdue, and I think there was someone else. I know I bet the Zags. I bet 4 teams that day, so I bet 200.
We had BYU at 200-1.
I didn't bet them. I didn't bet them. I don't know why I didn't bet them that day. Wish I would have, because those teams all went far enough that you could have made money off that. Sometimes people think, well, you just bet the bet to let it go. You hedge and make your money back because you're getting 200-1. You know they're not going to win it, but you can hedge to make money, and that's what you do it for. But I went back. I thought I bet 500 on Florida, and I only bet 200. And it is 200, but I'm hedging on Houston now because I want to root for Houston. So I'm betting Houston money line, Jeff. But I don't have a big difference in the game. I actually have Florida a 1.5 point favorite in the game, and the total I made 141. So my numbers are right there in this game. I really don't have a play, but I decided to bet a teaser because I want Houston. So I teased Houston plus the points to the under.
A college basketball teaser.
Yeah.
There we go.
One of the few bet all year.
Very nice.
I think I bet 1 or 2 all year.
Nice.
Now I might as well bet it in the championship.
So just in
And look what color I wore today.
You wore
Not
blue.
Even thinking, and I wore gator blue.
We're blue.
Look at it, Todd Golden.
I'll just say this with this matchup, and it's so strange with Florida, where we think offense first, and we think it's the prolific scoring of Clayton. It was Huff in the game against Texas Tech that really helped them stay in. It was again 34 Walter Clayton points against Auburn. That game flipped against Auburn because of their defense, because they completely took Broome out of the game in the second half. And when you have these immense big bodies inside, when you have Shinaloo and Condon and Huff and Hageldun, I mean, you have these giant bodies. Even though Houston is smaller, a lot of their guys are only 6'8", 6'7", 6'9". They're They're condors. They're long. They're giant span guys. And Florida, I don't think, is going to be able to muck up the game like they did against Auburn, like they did at the end against Texas Tech, against Houston, because Houston's built in the right way and they're physical enough. And when push comes to shove here, Houston has the bodies to throw at Walter Clayton. They have multiple guards. They have bigger guards, physical guards that, look, if Clayton has a 25-point game, that might not be enough here. Like, Clayton could have an amazing game tonight and Houston could still win the game. And when it's all said and done, I'm going to take the more experienced coach. As much as I think Todd Golden is going to win a national title at some point, it's not going to be tonight. Kelvin Sampson has waited a long time for this. This Houston program has waited a long time for this. Phi Slamma Jamma never won. They kept getting to the finals and kept losing. And obviously they lost to Patrick Ewing at Georgetown. They, of course, had the historic one against Jim Valvano and NC State. They never won. This program is still looking for title number 1. And I think it comes tonight behind that defense. I like this game under as well, under the 141. I think it'll be played kind of in the same area that Duke game ended up getting played, where it really was a mid-60s game before the run at the end. I like Houston, like it under. There's no reason to back down from any of us from what we had at the beginning of the tournament.
Oh, yeah, and it is in San Antonio. Did
Yes.
you give any points here for
I didn't
Houston?
do that. I didn't do that. I forgot all about that. That is
Didn't really
very
sound. It
important.
sounded like it was more a partisan Duke crowd anyway on
Yeah.
Saturday night, and
Yeah.
even with the short distance between Houston and San Antonio.
Yeah, that's true. Wow, but you could get a lot of Houston people to go tonight in this game. So, I think you should give proximity wise, some home court. I can be talked into that very easily. But let's go, Kelvin Sampson. I hope he wins. And in this day and age of nil, who has more money? It's amazing what Kelvin Sampson has done at Houston. And he's not at an SEC school. You look at all the guys that Florida has, and they all came from somewhere else. They were handpicked. They were starters at other schools and brought together. And Todd Golden's done a nice job, and he's got a great crew. It's going to be interesting because Florida's defense is awfully good at defending the 3, and that's what Houston does well offensively. So, the one thing Jeff said was, Houston has a lot of bodies to throw at Walter Clayton, some really good defensive guards to really bother him and give him a rough time tonight. I did a lot of work on the props this morning coming in because I wanted to talk about some of this stuff. And do you use what's happened that you saw against 10 really good defensive teams that don't play fast? Or do I use maybe just the last 4 games because that's where Walter Clayton has shined over the last 4 difficult opponents in March. He didn't do well against Tennessee and Arkansas and Auburn in February. He didn't score in those games, but he has in March. He's turned into a different player.
Well, Tennessee, of course, was the only team to hold this Florida Gators team to under 70 points, which is their team total. But, with that total, 141, it's kind of telling you, right, that Houston is the best defense that they are going to see, and they have a chance to keep them under that 70. I think it's going to be a really good game between these two. But another thing that's interesting to me is Florida saw most of their best opponents throughout their conference play, right? Because the SEC is so stacked. Houston's coming into this the Zags, Purdue, Tennessee, and Duke, they're not afraid of the Florida Gators. They've already seen some of the best teams in the country.
Yeah, they just saw Duke.
Houston hasn't been afraid of anyone in years. No. Let's just tell it how it is. They haven't been afraid of anybody, and they will definitely not be tonight. Real quick, checking in with the chat here. Marshall on Houston, Keith on the over, Dean on Houston and the under, Joey B leaning to the under, Brando, who I must do our journalistic integrity here, has a Florida avatar, thinks Houston will run out of gas and will be in foul trouble in the second half. So we'll take that with a grain of salt. Thank you for watching us, Brando. But it's so interesting in this matchup, and I'm happy we're going through these props as well, because Alex, first thing you walked in, Clayton's three-pointers opened 4.5 in this game after being 2.5 on Saturday. It has been bet down to 3.5 now, which I think that's the right number.
Yeah.
Yes.
At 3.5. If he got in at that 4.5 early, where was that 4.5? It was juiced to the under. It was minus 145 on under 4.5. But again, this is as good as. And here's the one other thing I want to just bring up with Florida. And for looking at these runs through this tournament, Florida, of course, steamrolled Norfolk, even though they didn't cover. They had a real game in around. Both of these teams had real games in around the 32. Florida beat UConn by 2 in a game that was, again, Walter Clayton bailed them out at the end, as he has done most of this tournament. Houston had to get a stop at the end against Gonzaga in a 3-point game, but ended up winning. They did not cover some numbers, covered most of them if you did it right. Houston, fortunate to get by Purdue in the end in what was a wacko finish. Again, an uncontested layup on what was as good of a play design as you'll ever see from Kelvin Sampson. Florida really smacked around Maryland in the second half. And then Florida down 9 with 3 minutes to go against Texas Tech, comes out of it, wins the regulation. Houston steamrolls Tennessee. Florida was down 13 in the first half against Auburn, right?
Yeah.
It was 13. Comes back, wins that game. Houston down 14 with 8.5 minutes to go. Come back and win. Pats are relatively similar, all things considered, when you go with at least saying, hey, how much fatigue will play a factor here. I don't think it will play a role at all. I think both of these teams as well conditioned as anyone and have had very similar runs to the national title game when you really look at it round by round, depth by depth there, Alex.
Well conditioned, and I mean the fight, right? Neither of these teams are giving up, so should be a really good one between them.
Those monster comebacks. I mean, Jeff just brought all those games up.
The Texas Tech one, if Florida wins, is going to go down in total lore. And obviously, if Houston wins, if the game's non-competitive tonight, which I would think would be a shock, then everyone will remember Saturday night.
It's incredible. Some of the wins that these two teams have had to get here, they are. I mean, just you gave me a great run back through, and thinking about those wins. Wow, they were in some battles and they got there, and that was, you mentioned earlier. We've all been talking about Duke not playing any type of close games, and I don't think they thought they were in a close game ever. No. They never thought they were in a close game against Houston until Houston was going to the line to win it. And they're like, oh, we're in a close game.
35-4 on both records for these teams. Again, Kenny, you brought it up when we asked you last week, how did this Final Four rank power ratings wise? You didn't hesitate, said it was the best one ever. Games delivered. These two teams, again, you said any other year, both of these teams would be number one without a shadow of a doubt for most years with these two teams, and here they are tonight.
Duke, I still think's the best team of the country.
Yep.
And they would
best team doesn't win all the time.
No, the best team doesn't win all the time. If Duke played Houston tomorrow, Duke's going to be a 4-point favorite. They were 5.5 this last one. It wasn't even close. 5.5 wasn't. It wasn't close. You said it. It was a double-digit Duke lead. It looked like it was over with, and Duke would play for the national championship, and then the comeback of centuries happened, and the Cougars pulled it out.
I do want to just ask you guys about Florida and that second half, because, I mean, they have been a good second half team, but watching that first half, Broome was not right, and he was not 100%. So was it their defense, or did that fall into it as well?
I thought Broome looked pretty good early. I thought as the game went along, then it started showing up. And you can look at it both ways. Was he that he was banged up, or did Florida's halftime adjustments? And Kenny, you said this earlier, you like Golden a lot more than you like Pearl.
Yeah.
It just wasn't as simple as that. And Broome definitely wore down by the end of the game. He's not the same guy by the end.
He left the first half, though, winded.
Yeah.
And they said maybe he hadn't been doing anything for a week, trying to rest all those injuries. But when he came out in the second half, he looked great. He wasn't the problem. It was Florida just started doing everything right. And then, I don't know, I lost track of Broome, I guess, after Florida took the lead.
Yeah.
But, it was kind of strange that when he came out in the first half, he looked winded. The announcers were talking about it. He is tired. What's going on? What's wrong with him? But it didn't matter. Auburn was dominating, and they went into halftime with a big lead, and I think they thought they were going to the championship game at that point, and not even thinking there's another 20 minutes left, and Florida Gators came storming back. So, that truly, we didn't have a lot of madness, but the two final teams in this tournament had a lot of madness.
Yeah.
Both of them.
Just want to throw one thing with Broom. Offensive rating at Ken Palmer was his fourth worst of the season at 88.
Yeah.
Broom had been very rarely held under 100. Forget under 90, under 100. It was his worst offensive rating game since a game at Kentucky where Auburn actually won by 16, as we remember, and scored 94 points on a day where Broom had a 74 offensive rating, which is kind of stunning. But, but I think it's a consensus. We're all sticking with what we had pre-tournament. Kenny, you got yourself a nice little hedge ball here tonight with this one, with that nice Florida ticket on one end and Houston and on the other.
So, man, I didn't have the Houston Eye because I talked about it here with Alex on Saturday. I said the bet to make, and I was going to go to the book and bet it here, and didn't do it.
You were very busy. You had a meeting.
I did. I had a
Saturday.
meeting. Yeah, I had a meeting, and
because I was talking to myself going through it. You were sitting here.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, am I just betting Houston?
I should have
just given
you. I should have just given you the money to
Yeah.
go make the bet for me, but I was going to go do it myself. But well, that's the way it goes.
Yeah.
Real quick in the chat, Joe Frieda, thank you very much for the super chat. Thanks for all the hoops inside all season. Should be a great finale tonight. Yeah, it's going to be a fun night across the board here in Houston and Florida. We're all on the Cougs, 3 for 3. We were all on them before the tournament. See, jinxes don't exist, guys.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's not
exist.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Get the hell out of here, Ryan. Save the other nonsense. Well, whatever. Keith will, I'm sure, will say something obnoxious in the tweet about what I just said. It's okay. All right. We'll take a quick break. When we get back, baseball. Big day. I don't know why baseball's playing 11 games against the national title game, but they are. We'll go through them. We'll see what we got for you when we get back. Sports by the Book, South Point Studio.
Once you've satisfied your hunger, get ready for more of the hottest casino games in Vegas. Our 24-hour, 30-table non-smoking poker room proudly hosts all the most popular poker games with a variety of betting limits. Visit the poker room for a schedule of daily tournaments. Whether you're going to hold 'em or fold 'em, the best place for poker is at South Point Casino. You'll notice that our craps tables are usually the loudest in the casino. If you've never played, join one of our free craps lessons to find out what makes this game so exciting. Check with the craps dealer for schedules and give it a roll. Bingo is also an exciting way to spend your time. We offer 7 sessions of bingo every day. Bingo! And each session includes a cash ball jackpot, 12 bingo games, a progressive double action game, and a $10,000 bonus coverall. Electronic units are available. If you haven't played bingo with us, give it a try today. Guests can also get in on the action at our one-of-a-kind race and sports books. 2 separate rooms designed to maximize your experience and comfort. Our sports book, with over 400 seats, puts you right in the middle of the action, 24 hours a day. The friendly ticket writers are happy to help, and it's conveniently located next to the famous Del Mar Deli, where you'll find supersized portions of delicious deli items like roast beef, pastrami, and Reuben sandwiches, or soups, salads, and pizza. Plus spectacular desserts fit for a king. And right next door is the race book. Over 150 seats, each with its own TV screen. There are 16 interactive player terminals, so you can bet right from your seat.
We're back in Sports by the Book, South Point Studio. Jeff Parles, Alex White, Kenny White. Thrilled to be with you as always. Thank you, Joe Frieda, again for the super chat. Vince is here, Ryan's here, Drew Dog is here, and Sean, Jerry out and about, hard at work as well. We'll also have an announcement at the end of the show as well, as we always do at the end of March Madness anyway. There will be some different times for us, and we'll fill you in on everything that's going on through the next through the next few months here with us here on the show. All right, baseball. Let's start in Pittsburgh. It is the very long last name pitching battle here tonight between the Cards and the Pirates. Liberatore for St. Louis, Lodzinski for the Pirates. Kenny, St. Louis, playing reasonable ball to begin the year, minus 125 favorites on the road here against the Pirates. Total is 8. That's really just bounced around all over the map, depending on what type of juice you had after an open of 8.5 that was bet down pretty quickly.
Yeah, I'm right on the number here in this game. You're right. St. Louis has been decent, not great, but Pittsburgh struggling 3-6 out of the gate. Kind of figured that. Just didn't think they have a great team. When you got a Paul Skeens on your staff, you're hoping that everybody else can step up and he could be the huge difference maker. I'm not sure if he can be. We'll see what happens in Pittsburgh. It's still early. 3-6 is it's such a small sample size. These teams, most of these teams, want to be 15-15 after 30 games. And if they are, they know, things can change very quickly as long as you have good chemistry in your locker room. So these two both below average baseball teams, I think, right now. Curious
what you think about this with the Cardinals. Of course, their game was postponed on Saturday with the Red Sox. So played 2 yesterday, doubleheader, lost that second one 18-7, and now have to travel to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh did get 1 win against the Yankees. So, and that was yesterday. Is that lead us to?
That it's a good point. That is definitely a negative for the Cardinals. And that's a long day.
They had an injury in that first game, starting catcher, but don't know how serious it is. But I do not think he'll be in this one.
You could take the home dog plus a price.
Plus 110 on Pittsburgh is the price here at the South Point. Going to D.C., Dodgers are at the White House today after losing 2 out of 3 in Philadelphia. Yeah, the Dodgers are fallible from time to time. It is still a 162-game schedule. Dustin May and Mackenzie Gore. Alex, I know you're a big Mackenzie Gore fan through the years. You're getting a nice price at home at plus 155 on him. Total of 8 here in this one. Just a nice price on Gore, but it is the Dodgers.
Yeah, I definitely think there's some value there. Maybe jumping in the first 5. I don't know what that price is.
That is plus 120 or plus 125. So it is a nice little tax knowing that you'll get Gore in a pitching advantage over May.
I think that is the only way that I would play it. And could there be some distraction there for the Dodgers?
Yeah, could the second place Dodgers?
Get those Giants tickets in now.
You're not going to be able to say that very much. The second place Dodgers. And I love Mackenzie Gore. What a great start to the season. 2 walks, 18 strikeouts. He's got great stuff. He's a guy that first rounder, top pick, and he is not disappointed. And I think that, he's 26 years old. He's not even close to his prime yet. He's just getting the experience that he needs, and I think right now he's just confident. The game is slowed down for him. He's not playing keep away with hitters. He's attacking hitters and going right after them, and I think it'll be a tough game for the Dodgers. I bet the Nationals today. I took the price plus 147.
Dodgers again, second place Dodgers, as Kenny said. They're gonna be just fine. The NL West, by the way, top 3 teams are 25-5 combined.
Yeah.
That's San Diego, San Francisco, and the Dodgers to begin the year. So ferocious starts by all 3 of those teams, and makes that Atlanta 1-8 start look even worse. Again, if that NL gets real compact, it could be tough for Atlanta to make up the ground.
And I think the 4th place team in the West is the second best team.
Arizona's 5-5.
5-5.
Yeah, so again, long season. Only 152 more to go for all these teams now. Mets and Marlins, these 2 teams played last week in Miami. Mets took 2 out of 3, which included a bizarro extra inning game. We actually saw Kodai Senga pitch against Miami. That was the game the Marlins won. Mostly shoddy defense, the difference in that game. Senga's a minus 270 favorite at home. Melezzo will get the start for Miami. Kenny, plus 230 on a take back for the Fish. Mets have won 4 in a row. They did sweep Toronto over the weekend at Citi Field.
Yeah, big pitching advantage with Senga, and offensively as well. This is a mismatch, but I'm not interested in laying that type of price. Weather might be, I didn't really check New York. I think it's a little cold there in New York, too.
Chilly.
A little chilly, yeah.
Chilly. Nice 43 degrees with a chance of light rain at first pitch. Sounds lovely for baseball weather.
Yeah, for hitters, they don't like to hear that. So I'm pretty much right there in the numbers. I'll just pass on that one.
Agreed. I think that number is just right. Marlins have been more competitive than expected. And, of course, 1-1 versus the Braves and one game postponed till later. So, it's tempting when you're getting that huge price with these dogs early on, but I'm going to pass on that one.
Going to San Francisco, the Red Hot Giants take on the Reds. This is Logan Webb and Hunter Green. Big-time pitching matchup by the Bay for this one. $1.45 favorite San Francisco at home, plus 130 on the take-back for the struggling Reds offense at the beginning of the year. Total of 7 juiced under. Not a shock on any of these numbers here, Kenny.
Looks like Hunter Green's figured it out. Starting the season, 2 walks, 16 strikeouts. I love the ratio. So I know what I'm going to get out of Logan Webb. You just consistency out of him every outing. So I like the game under. Not the greatest weather right now in the San Francisco Bay Area. Going to be, I guess this afternoon, 6:45 start time. About 55 degrees. In San Francisco, that's cold, though.
I love the game under as well. I actually think the first 5 is probably the best way to play that with both of these starters on the mound. But, I mean, and as Jeff mentioned, with the Reds struggling. So, or even maybe the Reds team total is actually, what did I say, 3.5 or 4.5?
Yeah,
I'll tell you right now, 3.5.
Yeah. That'd be like Walter Clayton's 3-pointers at 4.5.
Yeah.
I'm so intrigued by the fact that the Giants have gotten off to this ferociously good start.
Yeah.
I thought that this was a team with a reasonable roster, that it was just in a wrong division to realistically compete. Now, you got 9 games so far for San Francisco. They have not played a single game in the division yet. Also, very weird baseball scheduling quirk. This will wrap up the season series for the Reds and the Giants in the first 2 weeks of the season. They, of course, opened the season in Cincinnati. Giants took 2 out of 3. This was the opening day matchup that landed 6-4 because of some bullpen chicanery by Cincinnati on opening day. All right, next up we go to Detroit. These games have been moved up this week in Detroit because of bad weather. Just going to be frigid in Detroit this week. Chance of snow tomorrow, by the way. Always love that for baseball season. Yankees with Rodon are $1.55 favorite on the road against Casey Mize for Detroit, plus 155, total 8.5. This is a weather game. There's a chance of rain throughout. The wind, this is according to Roto Grinders, a consistent 14 mile an hour going out to left field. Now, this is a pure pitcher's park in normal circumstances. Kenny, how does that wind impact what you're doing here today with it blowing straight out left at 14?
Yeah, again, this is another ballpark. I don't believe the wind blows in one direction. I think it more swirls a little bit in this ballpark. So I made the game 8. I like both these pitchers. Carlos Rodon maybe a little bit of a slow starter, so you kind of got to worry about that with him. Yankees bats have been they're swinging it. They're one of the best offenses in baseball right now. So my numbers, I lean a little bit to the Yankees here, but the total's right on. No play for me, but the weather will, affect these guys a little bit. It is going to be cold, a little rainy, and that heavy wind. I was looking for maybe a low barometric pressure with the ball carry a little bit better, but that's not the case. It's not that low there.
Tigers are playing good ball as well, and I know they did just play the White Sox, but nice sweep for them, so don't want to jump in and go against them. And Mize in his first start, 3 2/3 innings, just 1 hit, 6 strikeouts, so I think it'll be a pretty good matchup here between these two.
It's the Yankees really had an opportunity to sweep in Pittsburgh, even though they had to come from behind yesterday. Pirate that back in bullpen has been awful, even with Bednar in the minors now. Tigers, again, this AL Central really looks to be every bit as bad as I thought it was going to be going into the year. There's an avenue for the Tigers. Good young team, enough arms. Mize is probably their weakest starter, but Kenny, you mentioned this in the past, former number 1 overall pick. Yeah. If he ever figures it out, can stay healthy, boy, that Detroit rotation could really be a monster, especially in a weak division. 8.5 again total. This one, Tigers small dog plus 140 against New York. All right, let's go to Boston. Red Sox had a good weekend finally after a slow start, sweeping St. Louis at home. Offense woke up. Devers remembered that he had to make contact with the baseball. It was all good in Boston this weekend. They get the Blue Jays, who got swept in New York by the Mets after Toronto had a really good first week at home. Kenny, I'll just ask you this with the Blue Jays, because obviously home road splits mean a ton in this sport as much as any. This could be an aggressive home road year for the Blue Jays. It's Fitz and Lucas here in this one, minus 40 on Boston, plus 125 on the Jays, total 9. Also, Vlad Guerrero Jr. signs the mega extension yesterday, 14 years, 525, third biggest contract in Major League Baseball history to basically play his whole career north of the border.
Yeah, Toronto will definitely have some crazy splits home and away. Easton Lucas starting today, I really thought he was going to be an opener for this team, and he went 5 innings in his first start for the Blue Jays. I was a little surprised about him because he's been a career relief pitcher. We'll see what we can get out of him. I'm not sure what we can, but I do like the way the Red Sox are playing. I kind of like the way their team has been put together, and now you got Devers starting to swing the bat. He's the most important key in that lineup. With those numbers, though, I'm going to use the streaks just to get Boston to the favorite. $1.44. I leaned to Boston. No play. I had the total 9.5, but the weather tonight, 38 degrees, rainy, wind blowing in. Now the wind will blow in this ballpark a little bit, and it will blow out because it's one of the older ballparks, so it's not built like the new ones. But wind will be blowing in a little bit tonight. That could hurt the total a little bit. So I'm gonna pass, lean to the Red Sox, lean to the under.
I did really want to jump on the over here, but with that weather concern, I mean, these are two of the weakest starting pitchers that we have going today. And Jeff mentioned it, Red Sox 36 runs in 3 games. What's crazy is the Cardinals actually scored 20 in those 3 games and got swept. So they can give up some runs as well. So lean to the over, but I'm not going to jump in.
That's a pretty bad weekend where you average 7 runs a game and you still get bombarded like St. Louis did. Again, Red Sox, they're another team that's going to have monster home road splits, but they always do. I mean, Fenway, we know.
Yes, they do.
As good of a hitter's park as there is in all of baseball. All right, we go to Kansas City next. Minnesota, Kansas City, Twins, Royals at Kauffman. Woods Richardson for the Twinkies and Lorenzen for KC. $1.15 on the Royals, even on the Twins, Kenny, with a total of 8 juiced under here.
Yeah, it's down to 8 now?
Down to 8.
Yeah, I figured. Well, I just pulled up the weather. Wind's going to be this another ballpark where the wind does affect play, and it will be blowing straight in from left field, about 20 miles an hour tonight. Very windy there. Well, and I look at that later on, a little later in the afternoon, the wind is dying down. So I'm not sure how much it'll affect play. 10 miles an hour at nighttime, 10 to 15 at the most. I don't have a lot of faith in either pitcher. Right now, both guys I have slightly below average. Got 2 slightly below average pitchers, but 2 slightly below average offenses as well. As you said, Jeff, great point. This division, not very good.
Yeah. The Twins have really struggled to start the season. Lose 2 or 3 to the Astros. The Royals take the series against the Orioles coming into this one. Nothing for me either. I think that's a pretty even matchup for the pitchers there.
This is a division that is, to me, the weakest by margin in baseball. At least the NL Central of the Cubs. I think the Cubs are a pretty good team. But we'll see. We could end up with a very weird route to an 85-win, 84-win AL Central champion. And Kansas City, both of these teams, even with the horrible start for Minnesota, both of these teams are still alive, very much alive in that division as we go through it. All right, we go to the Pacific Northwest next. Wazinski and Gilbert, your pitching matchup for the Mariners and the Astros. Mariners are minus 160 favorite, and Kenny, Alex, it's the same old with this Mariner team. They're off to a 3-7 start, and it is mostly because, again, just not enough offense for this team. They had a game, they gave up 10, they gave up 9 to Detroit, but this is still, again, an offense that we talked about going into the year. We know their pitchers are awesome, but that offense needs to produce. And again, not through 10 games, has not produced at the level you would have wanted.
Yeah, I thought Randy Arozarena would be a big addition for them, would help. And again, we're still early in the season. I didn't bet them. I bet them last year. I was heavy on them last year. I thought they could win the AL pennant. I thought they could compete in the World Series because of the depth and the pitchers that they have. When you look at this kid, Logan Webb, 1 walk, 18 strikeouts. He's the best in baseball. He's tremendous stuff. And he is going to be an ace for them for a while as long as they keep him locked up, but you can't count on him. They're just so inconsistent as a team. Bullpen is really good, but they've been a little inconsistent to start the season as well. Houston off to some struggles, so I'm right there in my numbers.
I was going to say that. Houston, too. I mean, right now a 2.16 batting average for them as well, 22nd in the league, and Seattle 23rd. So I don't know. Can we go under here? Full game with Logan Gilbert getting the start for Seattle?
7 plus 105. Getting a reasonable price on that under 7.
I think there's a better chance of the game getting rained out.
They'll dome it up.
So it's closed, yeah. So.
All right, now we get to have some real fun, guys. Let's go to Wrigley, where you're getting a fun Wrigley one here tonight. Awesome pitchers, Eovaldi and Steele. Total is 6 on this game. Cubs are minus 125. Rangers are plus 110. The weather report here tonight is just like the most idyllic Wrigley under, even at an absurdly low number you're going to get. It is a 16-mile-an-hour consistent wind in from left center with gusts up to 25. Now, it is subsiding as the game goes along, but it's still going to be a consistent 15, 16, 17 mile an hour wind in. And Kenny, Alex, we know what that usually brings in a Wrigley Field game.
Usually the high number is correct at this field because they're so close to the lake.
Yep.
So I think it's going to be in from center 25 miles an hour. But You are right, Jeff, that later at nighttime, the winds do die down in Chicago. But the weather report's still saying 15 to 25 up to about 9 o'clock at night. This starts at 6:40. I think you're going to see heavy winds in all night. And I just said Logan Gilbert with his 18-to-1 ratio would be the best in baseball. It's not, because I can't believe Eovaldi, no walk, 17 strikeouts to begin the season. So, and I love Justin Steele. You're right. It's a big matchup. I made it 5.5. I took 3 runs off for the weather tonight in Chicago.
By the way, it's 32 degrees also at game time.
Yeah, and we'll see some snow today.
Yeah, that's not good, Alex.
I'm really impressed with both of these teams. I mean, I was worried about the Cubs. They went to Sacramento, swept the Athletics, but then to take 2 of 3 against the Padres. Now they stay at home here in this one. So I was leaning to Texas because they've won 5 in a row, I believe. I know they swept Tampa Bay at home, so leaning to that side. But
I didn't say,
really
but I did bet the Rangers this morning, plus 112, because of the winning streak.
Rangers 5 in a row, two in a row in Cincy, and then that sweep over the Rays. All right, Arizona next. Eflin and Gallen, the battle of the Zacks in this one with the Orioles and the Diamondbacks. 8.5 is the total in this one. This is really just bounced all over the place on the side, Kenny. Right back to the opener at minus 120, but we took a nice little detour up to minus 135 on the backs in this one. Orioles plus 105 here at the Supper.
Yeah, I like both these offenses and both these starting pitchers for both teams. So my number's right on $1.30. Made the total 8.5. That's what the roof closed. It will be open tonight. So I'm adding a run. I'm probably going to go over this 8.5, but you will not believe it's going to be over 100 degrees on Thursday. Tomorrow they play a day game, I believe, on Wednesday. And the roof will be closed because it's going to be 98, I think, that day, but over 100 on Thursday.
Wow, already?
Yeah.
I think we're getting to 90s this week as well.
Yeah, we'll get 93 on Friday.
I'm leaning to the home team here. I think Zach Gallen's the better pitcher of these two, even though you have them rated very, very close there. But Arizona got to get back on track. Lost 2 of 3 to the Nationals, so I think it might be a nice get-right spot for them.
Last one on the baseball card. We go back to Sacramento. We have aces on the mound for both teams between the Padres and the A's. It's King and it's Severino. 8.5. Now, again, we talked about this last week. Kenny, you said it, that this ballpark plays as an under ballpark, especially at the AAA level. So far, very, very tiny sample size of what will end up being 3 seasons worth of games, supposedly, at least. 3 overs so far in Sacramento. And the totals are, again, if this was in Petco, this would probably be a 7.5 tonight with King and Severino. It is an 8.5 tonight. And, of course, the Padres, who Alex said, lost 2 out of 3, are $1.50 favorite in this one.
I made him $1.50. Padres with King over Severino. And, yeah, this ballpark is a pitcher's park. If you make the total 7.5, it's now an over park because that's too low. But if their numbers get up to 10.5, it'll be an under park. And I see that Cirque opened this game 8 over a quarter yesterday, and now we're seeing 8.5s. And I think we're only seeing 8.5s because of what we saw in the Cub series.
Well, I am going to go over in Padres team total. It is 4.5 because they are second right now, batting average second, and on base percentage. His offense has just been dynamite. And now I'll take a shot here at this park. How was Severino's first starting here for the Athletics? But I'm not.
First start in Sacramento was bad,
and I don't want to go against Michael King. I think that so I don't want to go full game. I'm just going to go with the Padres and a chance to get some hits off of Severino.
So Sevy, 2 starts, pitched in Seattle on opening day, which, as we know, the best pitcher's park in baseball. He went 6 innings, 3 hits, 4 walks, 6 strikeouts, no runs. Great outing. Sacramento, 6 innings, still gave him length, but 6 hits, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts, 5 earned, 2 homers. So struggled in that first, and gave him length, but struggled in that first start at Southern Health Park.
I knew that there were quite a few walks in there, and even
7 walks in 12 innings, a lot.
Yeah, I don't like that.
To begin the season for Sevy. All right, we'll take a quick break. When we get back, we'll check in with the chat. Of course, the trivia question is on the bottom. Be on the lookout for that. Also, Alex has some hockey for us as well. And we'll get the whiteboards a little bit later. And, of course, our plans moving forward here with Sports by the Book. When we get back, Sports by the Book, South Point Studio.
We have 11 amazing restaurants featuring a wide variety for every price range and appetite. South Point's Garden Buffet has something for everyone at unbeatable prices. Or, if hunger strikes in the middle of the night, join us at Coronado Cafe. The American menu offers breakfast, lunch, or dinner 24 hours a day, plus a Chinese kitchen for authentic Chinese dishes from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. From steak and eggs to wonton soup, it's fast and friendly service 24/7. When you need a quick pick-me-up, you can find it at our state-of-the-art Starbucks just inside the main South Point entrance. Order ahead with the Starbucks app for easy mobile order pickups. Or enjoy your favorites in the relaxing dining area anytime, day or night. If you love Mexican food, Baja Miguel's has all of your south-of-the-border favorites. There are dozens of classics to choose from, like fajitas, ceviche, chimichangas, tacos, and more. And for spirit lovers, Baja's colorful non-smoking tequila bar is right outside.
Welcome back in at Sports by the Book, South Point Studio. Jeff Parles, Alex White, Kenny White here on a national title day in college hoops. We all like Houston here tonight. So just sticking with what we said pre-tournament. Go Cougs, for sure. Now we go to the ice. Alex White. We are entering the home stretch of the hockey season. A lot of these teams have 5 or 6 games to go. And we'll start real quick in New York, where the New York Rangers are, look, I don't want to say they're done, but it's pretty darn close at this point to being lights out for a team that this was supposed to be the year. They finally bust through. They make a cup final. They win the cup. They're 6 points behind. They do have a game in hand, so tonight's critical, but they're 6 points behind Montreal for that final playoff spot in the Eastern Conference. The Lightning, who are already in, trying to take their last 6 games and catch Toronto to get the number 1 seed in the Atlantic Division, which would be good for the 2 seed in the East this year. Lightning $1.50 at home, total 5.5. or excuse me, on the road, I should say. Rangers plus 130 at MSG here tonight.
I do think that is a little steep, but you mentioned it right there. I mean, playing for that second spot is important because, I mean, that first spot is important with the home ice and getting to see one of the wild card spots rather than having to host the Florida Panthers. So I think Tampa will still be playing hard. I just still have the Rangers pretty high power rating. I mean, we do have Shesterkin, and they definitely have all the talent there, but I'm going to stay away. Are you interested in that plus 130 or not anymore?
No, I'm going to pass on them. Yeah, they just have not played well down the stretch.
I really think it's the Senators more than, I mean, the Canadians have done good. They've done what they needed to, but the Senators have just been hot and just taken over that number one wild card spot.
Both those teams have combined to win 8 straight. Ottawa and Montreal. Senators have, and I think with what you're saying, Alex, just that gap. There's a gap now. I mean, Ottawa. It's hard to blow a 5-point lead with 5 to go for Ottawa, and that's where they're at right now. And if you extrapolate that out to the Rangers, it's 11. I mean, that's done. That's physically can't. Just legitimately, the Rangers would have to win all 6, and Ottawa would have to lose all 5 in order for the Rangers to even catch Ottawa. So, I mean, Sens are going to the playoff. Been a while for Ottawa to be in that postseason. But as you said, there's a big difference between playing the Senators in round 1 and playing Florida in round 1, even though the Panthers are not playing well right now. 5 straight losses for Florida. Going to the next game on the board, Jets and Blues. St. Louis has won 12 in a row and went from a complete afterthought to, we're going to make the playoffs and might even make some noise in the Western Conference. Winnipeg has a 3-point lead with 5 to go over Dallas for the number 1 seed, which is a significant difference. That's a difference between playing Minnesota and Colorado in round 1. That is a gigantic difference for potentially Winnipeg. Minus 60 on the Jets, plus 40 on the Blues. Total 5.5. Very much juice to the under at $1.25.
And this is a team that's been one of the best all year long, most consistent here with the Jets. I mean, in goals for and goals against, they're number 1 right now in goals against, of course, with Hellebuck having the best year of his career. But you look on the other side, Jordan Binnington. I mean, he has just been fantastic for this team. I love the under here. I'm going under 5.5, even though it is a little juiced. Maybe shop around and see if you can get a better number than minus 125.
Yeah, I like it under too. I agree with you. 2 great goaltenders right now. The Blues with their winning streak have to get that's going to get the attention of the Jets. And Jeff just mentioned the Jets have something to play for. They haven't clinched yet, so you're going to get their best effort. They've been playing outstanding defense. 6 straight unders by the Jets.
I will just say, too, because this is their 4th game. First 2 stayed under, that 5.5, 3-2 from the Jets. Blues won 4-1. The last game, a little bit higher, Blues 4-3. So I like that. I don't like when we're going in the 4th game and they've all been dead under. So I think we'll have both of them. Best effort today.
Next up, L.A. hosts Seattle. Kings are going to the postseason, and they might have home ice. They have a 4-point lead over Edmonton for home ice in that 2-3 matchup in the Pacific Pod, which, Edmonton is, we know the deal in that matchup. We've seen that matchup a ton over the last few years in the playoffs. Scrappiness of the Kings, talent of Edmonton. Home ice could end up making a difference, or it could play like hockey usually does and not make any difference. Minus 230, though, on the Kings here tonight. A 6. We don't see a lot of 6s with LA, though, Alex.
No, you're right. That is actually a even better play for me than that first one. I thought it was 5.5, but it looks like it's been bet up a little bit here. So we're going to have to dive into this one. But you're right about the Kings. I mean, they're 29-4-4 at home this year. They're 15, 19, and 5 on the road. So huge difference for them. They definitely want home ice in that first round. But leaning to the under, Kings just 2 in a row at home. But we know that their medians and everything matches up as well.
Yeah, they're such a super under team at home. It's a great play at home. Might be well worth a correlated parlay. Kings to the under in this one tonight. Their defense has just been suffocating. So yeah, I like it still, and still a lot to play for. Nothing's locked up. So you want to have a team that has motivation, and they definitely do.
Well, and it's funny because Seattle has officially been eliminated, but They have not quit. They are actually on a nice little 2-game winning streak themselves.
And then one last one with playoff implications here tonight, Alex. Edmonton taking on the Ducks. Again, the Oilers still got to play for seeding again. Check the injury report here tonight. That's the easiest way I can say it. Minus 45 on Edmonton down there at the Honda Center in Anaheim.
You finally get Draisaitl back, and then now he's been out again for a few days. I am not certain. I know this goalie, though, going for Edmonton tonight. So we'll definitely have to look into that as well. Price-wise, it would be a play on Edmonton, but with the goalie switch, got to add that in. So nothing in that one.
All right, let's take a quick break. When we get back, whiteboards, trivia answer, and some final thoughts here from Sports by the Book here at the South Point studio.
We have 11 amazing restaurants featuring a wide variety for every price range and appetite. South Point's Garden Buffet has something for everyone at unbeatable prices. Or, if hunger strikes in the middle of the night, join us at Coronado Cafe. The American menu offers breakfast, lunch, or dinner 24 hours a day, plus a Chinese kitchen for authentic Chinese dishes from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. From steak and eggs to wonton soup, it's fast and friendly service 24/7. When you need a quick pick-me-up, you can find it at our state-of-the-art Starbucks just inside the main South Point entrance. Order ahead with the Starbucks app for easy mobile order pickups. Or enjoy your favorites in the relaxing dining area anytime, day or night. If you love Mexican food, Baja Miguel's has all of your south of the border favorites. There are dozens of classics to choose from, like fajitas, ceviche, chimichangas, tacos, and more. And for spirit lovers, Baja's colorful non-smoking tequila bar is right outside. South Point Casino has plenty of attractions for the whole family. Catch a movie. Our 16-screen movie theater includes 2 XD Extreme screens for the ultimate in viewing, sound, and luxury. After the show, treat the family to a variety of treats at our old-fashioned ice cream parlor, Kate's Corner. We scoop up a variety of creamy concoctions, including smoothies, hand-dipped cones, milkshakes, malts, sodas, and sundaes. At Kate's, there's something for everyone. And if you've still got time to spare, our bowling center might be right up your alley. Voted Best of Las Vegas, it's a great place for friends and family fun. 64 lanes, a pro shop, snack bar, and arcade. And while the kids are bowling, you can play slots and sip on a drink in the Alley Cat Lounge while overlooking the lanes. For our more serious and professional bowlers, the South Point is also home to a separate tournament bowling plaza.
Welcome back in. Final segment for us here at Sports by the Book. Here today on a Monday, the National Title Day here on April 7th, 2025. Before we get the whiteboards, we had a buzzer beater in the trivia, didn't we? Dean Hilt, well done. Can you name the 8 teams that played in the first NCAA tournament in 1939? Kenny, do you know that one or no?
No idea.
So here are the teams. Brown, Ohio State, Villanova, Wake Forest, Oklahoma, Texas, Utah State, and the national champion was Oregon, who at that point were not known as the Ducks. They were known as the Webfoots, which apparently has to do with the regional, whatever. 46-33, they beat the Buckeyes to win the title at that point. I did not realize they did not turn into the Ducks until the 70s. So there you go. Learn that here today. Dean, congratulations. Job well done. For the trivia question here on a Monday. By the way, the poll, who's going to win tonight, 70% is with us on Houston. So we can blame the chat if Houston loses. We can blame the chat here tonight. All right, roll the graphic there, my friend McCormick.
I think they've been with us for a while, though. So in a different show. You know, it might be leaned more to Florida, but since all 3 of us have been there. Because I do know some people who jumped in and got some futures on Houston after we all liked them. So
well, and not only that, you're still getting good numbers going into this weekend because of how big of a dog they were against Duke.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
And I mean, again, you have your nice little exacta. I mean, 9-1 is an amazing price that deep in the tournament.
Yeah.
On Houston over Florida, which Alex is riding into tonight. Hopefully, into the bank account by about 11 o'clock Eastern time, 8 o'clock Pacific here on a Monday. All right. Let's go ahead with the whiteboards here on a Monday. Got plenty to get to here today. We will start with Kenny White with a lot of props on your board.
All props.
Wow.
All props and all unders.
Okay.
So I hope those defenses show up. I think the numbers are a little high. Cryer, 3-pointers, under 3.5. His median is 3. Sharp, under 3.5 3-pointers. His is 2.5. And again, Florida defends the 3-point line very well, and we are playing in a football stadium. Clayton under 19.5 points. Sharp under 14.5. Cryer under 16.5, and Uzan under 11.5. Big game, a lot of pressure. I hope this turns into a 63-60 Houston win tonight.
My only concern is that's a lot of Houston. Only one Florida.
I didn't have any other choices.
That's all you got.
I'd go under all the Florida players, too.
Okay. So the Florida players will be added later. Yeah.
Alex,
One
what do you
of them
have?
has to step up. Let's go.
Someone's got to go over.
Roberts is going to go over.
Thank you.
He'll be the over guy.
He's the MVP. He's going to get 19.
There you go. Him
tonight.
and Tugler will be the over guys here tonight,
Tugboat.
right? Yeah. Alex, what do you have on the board here today?
Okay, so I've got a few unders because I am adding the Kraken and the Kings. We're going under 6 because I made it 5.5. So now that it has been bet up, Blues and Jets, we're going under 5.5. Two really good goalies there. I'm going over for the Padres team total over 4.5, and then one more under in baseball. Cincinnati Reds and Giants under 3.5 in the first 5 innings. Houston.
And Houston.
Yeah.
Go Cougs. That's all I have to say about tonight.
That's it.
Go Cougs. I really do think it's time for Kelvin Sampson. It's time. Finally, and that just miraculous win on Saturday. I know Florida had that against Texas Tech, and it kind of feels like, whoa, when you win a game in the tournament like that, you're sort of destined. Just in the end, I'm going to take the team that I think is tougher. They're just the tougher team.
Yep.
On the Cougars here tonight. All right, before we go here today, a few notes that we want to bring to you here at Sports by the Book. We will be off the next 2 days from live shows. We will have some pre-recorded content. You'll see Alex tomorrow. You'll see me on Wednesday. We will be previewing the Masters in that content. So don't worry, we will have plenty of Masters content on the studio page on YouTube at Sports by the Book. If you're not following us, please hit that subscribe button if you're not already doing so right now. We'll have live shows again, hopefully Thursday, right? Thursday, as of right now. Yep, Thursday. Alex and I will be back. And starting this week, actually, we will be a Monday through Friday show until further notice, starting at 10 a.m. Right here on the Sports by the Book channel. For this physical studio itself, this is our final show from the actual glass case here outside the sports book here at the South Point. Alex and I will be moving to a different location here on property. So the show continues, but this physical box that first appeared, Kenny, I know you remember this game, 28-3. Patriots 34, Falcons 28.
Oh,
Super Bowl 51. That was the first time that an appearance came in this studio. Of course, Brent Musburger, Gil Alexander, Matt Humans, plenty of others on that day. Of course, we know Veasan was here up until September 1st of 2023, until we took over the reins here in this studio. And it has been our honor and our privilege to be in here. This is a world-class studio with a world-class crew. And Jerry, Vince, Ryan, Drew Dog, Sean, and I would be remiss if I did not mention the three gentlemen in the back, Jimmy Vaccaro, Vinny Maliulo, and Chris Andrews, who without Chris, we would never have been here in the first place. we would not have been on the air as this Sports by the Book South Point studio if it wasn't for Chris at the beginning. And Chris, we love you, and we thank you so much for continuing to give us the opportunity here on property. And thank you to Michael Gahn as well for allowing us to continue on property as well. But for this physical box, this is the final time from the South Point studio for us, and for me and for Ann, who were here in the VEASAN days as well. This has been, Ann and I both got hired actually by VEASAN originally around the same time in 2019. For the most part, over the last 6 years, this place has been home professionally for both of us. So, Ann, this is Ann just sighed. I think that's more for me more than anything. But I love this place, Alex. I know it's been amazing doing the show with you. I can't wait to continue it in a different location here. But this is a great spot, and we're sad to see it go. But the show is not going anywhere. We'll still be here Monday through Friday, 10 a.m., 11 through 11 a.m. Monday through Friday. We'll resume on Thursday. So.
Yeah. The show must go on.
Show must go on.
Monday through
show
Friday,
must go
10
on.
a.m.
And, of course, Gone Racing will still be going as well. And, of course, Race Day Las Vegas with Ralph Sirocco will still be going, all from a different location here on property at the South Point. But, again, anyone who has been through here through the years, Gil Alexander, Mitch Moss, Paulie Howard, Matt Humans, Stormy Bonatoni, the list goes on and on and on. And I know I'm forgetting plenty, and I apologize, but there's just too many people to list that have made this place, this physical studio, a very special place. You're back tomorrow. We'll have a pre-recorded Masters special with Alex on Tuesday. We'll have a pre-recorded Masters special with myself on Wednesday, and then Alex and I will be live on Thursday with a Frozen 4 preview as well from a different location here on Sports by the Book. Always live on this YouTube channel at Sports by the Book. Thanks to the crew, Ann Goldstone, Drew Goldstone, Vince Maliulo, Ryan McCormick, Jerry Trevino, Sean Kay, because I don't want to butcher his last name, for Kenny White, for Alex White, for Chris Andrews, Vinny Maliulo, Jimmy Vaccaro. I'm Jeff Parles. This has been Sports by the Book here at the South Point studio. We will see you again on Thursday with a live show at 10 a.m.